Howdy freeze dryers, it is one of my favorite times of the year here in Colorado because we get amazing Palisade peaches from Palisade, Colorado. And I know the comments section is not gonna like this, but to me, these are the best peaches in the country. There's just something about the high elevation and the cool nights that just make this an awesome peach. This is one of my favorite snacks after it's freeze dried. I don't really eat a lot of peaches normally, but when they're freeze dried, they're just, it just totally changes them for me. And I'm gonna show you my favorite rehydration method for this with a little ice cream, and it just makes a really cool treat for those hot summer nights. And we're gonna do all that coming up. To get the optimal freeze-dried peach, you need to make sure that these are plenty ripe, they're plenty sweet. That's gonna give you the best end result. If they're a little early, they're not gonna be as good, and if they're too late, they're gonna be a squishy mess. Although freeze drying may be able to save them even if they're past what you would normally eat them as. The first thing I'm gonna do is just give them a quick rinse. I leave the skins on these. To me, I actually like having the skins on apples, peaches, all that kind of stuff. It does not do really the same kind of gross texture a lot of times that fruits do after they're freeze dried. It really just kind of falls apart when it's freeze dried. Plus, if you don't leave the skins on, you're missing out on some of the best vitamins and nutrients and everything that are in a fruit. The preparation of this is going to be extremely simple. We're just going to take everything down to the peach pit. And then depending on how you're going to use these, whether you're going to snack on them or you're going to throw them in some ice cream or something like that, you might want to change on how big your chunks are. If you leave them too big, they're going to take a long time to freeze dry. Don't do them too small, too thin. I like them to be just kind of bite-sized. They're the best that way, I think. So to me, it's about the size of a pineapple chunk maybe. So as a reference, this was about pounds of peaches. It filled about 3.5 trays for the medium. This will most likely be my last cycle in the medium because I'm just becoming partial to the Pro model over the older one. My old machine is a 2022, but I just really like the new Pro model small and the Pro model XL. These were put onto pre-cut parchment. I like to put sticky stuff onto the parchment. I'm also putting lids on these from freeze drying supplies. Because these are going in the freezer, I like to pre-freeze all fruits. Make sure you pre-freeze fruits and liquids for at least 24 hours. You want these to be frozen all the way through. And also make sure you check out freeze drying supplies for lids, parchment paper, stackers, all of the goodies and accessories that you can have for freeze drying. And if you have questions about freeze drying, you can go to our freeze drying social media groups. Those are Retired at 40's freeze drying groups, and those can be found on Facebook and MeWe. If you like this freeze drying content, let us know by giving us a thumbs up. You may also want to consider subscribing to Live Life Simple. We do primarily freeze drying on this channel. You'll find lots of recipes, you'll find lots of tips, and you'll also find out when new things come out for freeze drying. And we are using Harvest Right freeze dryers today. If you're curious about Harvest Rights, you can find out specs, pricing, all that good stuff. And if you do end up purchasing, please consider using our affiliate link. That can be found down in the description. That will take you to Harvest Right and let them know that we sent you there. And when you do that, that sends us a small commission. That helps keep this little YouTube channel afloat. It also helps us do giveaways in our freeze drying groups. It also helps us develop new products for freeze drying. And it also helps us stay up to date in everything in the world of freeze drying. And that way we can keep you, the viewer, updated on everything new in the freeze drying world. This recipe, Peaches and Cream, can also be found on the Freeze Drying Cookbook. That is our online cookbook. There are more than 300 recipes on that cookbook now. If you are more of a hard copy type of person, it does take us a while to catch up with the hard copy, but our first version of Volume 1 can be found on Amazon or at freezedryingsupplies.com. Now let's let these peaches freeze dry and we can rehydrate with some delicious ice cream. Just 3 minutes shy of 26 hours, we have some freeze-dried peaches. We're using vanilla ice cream. This works best if the ice cream is a little bit melty and a little bit soft already. We can do this two ways. You can let the ice cream almost completely melt and rehydrate the peaches back until they're soft again, or they make a nice crunchy topper if you don't want them to rehydrate at all. We prefer them crunchy. Enjoy your peaches and cream. Remember to live life peachy. We'll catch you next week.